Eventually, you'll look back and think, what the heck was I thinking? Not in a way where you judge yourself, not in a way where you shame yourself, but in a quiet, almost unbelievable way. The kind of way where you sit with your coffee one morning, in a peaceful house, in a peaceful mind, and you think about the version of you who cried over someone who couldn't love you properly. And you almost don't recognize her anymore. And that's not because she was weak. It's because she didn't know yet. She didn't know what peace felt like. She didn't know what self-respect felt like. She didn't know what it felt like to sleep without anxiety sitting in her chest. She didn't know what it felt like to go a full day without checking her phone. She didn't know what it felt like to choose herself without guilt. So she stayed. She explained. She forgave. She waited. She hoped. She tried to be softer, calmer, prettier, smarter, more understanding, less emotional, less needy, more patient, more forgiving. She tried to shrink herself into someone who would finally be chosen. And one day, something in her broke. But not in the way people think. It wasn't a loud break. It wasn't a dramatic exit. It wasn't a movie scene where she packed her bags and slammed the door. It was a quiet break. The kind of break that happens when you realize you're tired in your soul. The kind of break that happens when you realize you've been fighting for someone who is not fighting for you. The kind of break that happens when you realize love is not supposed to feel like a constant audition. And that's the moment everything starts to change. Not on the outside, but on the inside. Because the day you stop trying to convince someone to love you is the day you start seeing everything clearly. And clarity is a strange thing, because when clarity first arrives, it feels like grief. It feels like withdrawal. It feels like silence. It feels like loneliness. But what it actually is freedom arriving in a form you didn't expect. See, heartbreak has a way of removing the illusion. When you're in love, especially when you're in love with someone who hurts you, you don't see reality, you see potential. You see who they could be, you see who they used to be, you see who they sometimes are, and you fall in love with those versions and you hold on so tight, hoping those versions will stay. But eventually, reality always wins. And when reality wins, it hurts. Not because you lost them, but because you lost the future you thought you were going to have. You lost the idea. You lost the dream. You lost the story you had written in your head. And for a while, that feels unbearable. There will be nights when you miss them so much that it doesn't make sense, because you know they hurt you, but you still miss them. There will be days when you almost text them. There will be moments when you wonder if you made the wrong decision. There will be moments when you remember the good times, and your brain conveniently forgets the bad times. And this is the part nobody talks about enough. Missing someone is not a sign that you were meant to be with them. It's a sign that you're human. It's a sign that you loved. It's a sign that you attached. It's a sign that you tried. But missing someone is not the same thing as them being right for you. And one of the most powerful moments in a woman's life is when she finally understands that. Because once you understand that, you stop romanticizing pain. You stop calling chaos chemistry. You stop calling inconsistency passion. You stop calling anxiety love. You start asking different questions. You start asking, why did I think I had to earn love? Why did I feel like I had to compete for someone who said they loved me? Why did I ignore the way my body felt around them? Why did I stay so long? Why was I willing to accept so little? And those questions are not meant to shame you. They are meant to wake you up. Because eventually, and I promise you this, eventually you will heal. Eventually, you will laugh again. Eventually, you will go a full day without thinking about them. Then 2 days, then a week. Then one day you'll realize you haven't thought about them in a month. And that's when it will hit you. You'll look back at old messages and think, what the heck was I thinking? You'll look back at the way you begged for bare minimum and think, what was I doing? You'll look back at the way you blamed yourself for their behavior and think, that was never my fault. You'll look back at how you tolerated things that kept you up at night, made you anxious, made you question yourself, made you feel like you weren't enough. And you won't feel embarrassed. You'll feel proud. Because you'll realize that version of you did the best she could with what she knew at the time. And this version of you, the peaceful version, the healed version, the wiser version, she exists because the old version was brave enough to finally walk away. Do you understand how powerful that is? You are not healing just to move on. You are healing so you never abandon yourself again. You are healing so you recognize red flags early. You are healing so you stop confusing potential with reality. You are healing so that the next time you love from a place of peace, not fear. You are healing so that you never again try to convince someone of your worth. Because here is the truth that changes everything. The right person does not need to be convinced to love you. The right person does not need to be reminded to call you. The right person does not disappear for days. The right person does not make you feel like you are hard to love. And once you experience peace, real peace, you become very protective of it. That's why so many women after heartbreak say the same thing. I'm not scared of being alone anymore. I'm scared of being in the wrong relationship again. Because solitude will teach you something that chaos never could. It will teach you that your peace is priceless. You will start to enjoy your own company. You will start to enjoy quiet mornings. You will start to enjoy not explaining yourself. You will start to enjoy doing what you want, when you want. You will start to rebuild your life in a way that actually fits you. And somewhere in that process, you will meet a new version of yourself, a calmer version, a wiser version, a version that doesn't panic when someone pulls away, a version that doesn't chase, a version that doesn't beg, a version that can walk away the first time she is disrespected, a version that knows, if it costs me my peace, it's too expensive. And that is the version of you that will change your entire life. Because that version of you doesn't fall in love with words. She watches actions. That version of you doesn't ignore red flags. She walks away from them. That version of you doesn't try to fix people. She lets people fix themselves. That version of you doesn't stay where she is not valued. She leaves with dignity. And one day, you will sit across from someone, maybe a friend, maybe a sister, maybe a younger woman who is going through heartbreak. And she will be crying, and she will be asking, how did you get over it? How did you move on? How did you stop loving him? And you will tell her the truth. You won't tell her that you just woke up one day and stopped loving him. You won't tell her it was easy. You won't tell her you never cried again. You will tell her that you chose yourself one day at a time. You will tell her that some days you missed him and still didn't go back. You will tell her that some days you were lonely, but you chose peace anyway. You will tell her that healing is not one big decision. It's 1,000 small decisions. It's the decision not to text. It's the decision to block. It's the decision to go for a walk instead of checking their social media. It's the decision to journal instead of breaking no contact. It's the decision to remember the truth instead of the fantasy. It's the decision to believe what you saw, not what you hoped. And those small decisions will build a new life for you, a peaceful life, a stable life, a life where you are not constantly worried about who is lying, who is cheating, who is texting who is pulling away, who is coming back, who is leaving again. You will build a life where your nervous system can finally rest. And when your nervous system rests, your whole life changes. You think clearer, you sleep better, you look better, you make better decisions, you attract better people. You start building instead of surviving. And that's when the sentence finally makes sense. Eventually you'll look back and think, what the heck was I thinking? Not because you were stupid, not because you were desperate, not because you were weak, but because you were in a chapter of your life where you were still learning your worth. We all have a chapter like that. The chapter where we love someone more than we love ourselves. The chapter where we stay too long. The chapter where we cry too much. The chapter where we almost lose ourselves trying to keep someone else. But that chapter is not the whole book. It's just a chapter. And the beautiful thing about life is that you get to write the next chapter. You get to decide that from this point forward, you only accept love that feels safe. You get to decide that from this point forward, you listen to your intuition. You get to decide that from this point forward, you don't ignore red flags just because you love someone. You get to decide that from this point forward, you choose peace over potential. And one day, I don't know when, but I promise you this day will come. You will wake up, make your coffee, sit in your quiet home, and you will feel something that once felt impossible. You will feel peace. Not temporary happiness, not distraction, not, I'm okay today but sad tomorrow. Peace. The kind of peace that doesn't come from a relationship. The kind of peace that comes from knowing you can walk away from anything that doesn't treat you right. The kind of peace that comes from trusting yourself. The kind of peace that comes from surviving something that you once thought would destroy you. And in that moment, you won't hate your past. You won't hate him. You won't even hate the experience. Because you'll realize something that most people never understand. Some people come into your life not to be your forever, but to teach you a lesson that will protect you for the rest of your life. So no, you didn't go through all of that for nothing. You didn't cry all those nights for nothing. You didn't pray all those prayers for nothing. You didn't feel all that pain for nothing. You were learning, you were growing, you were becoming. And the woman you are becoming is a woman who will never again settle for a love that feels like confusion. A woman who will never again beg for consistency. A woman who will never again ignore her intuition. A woman who understands that peace is more valuable than attention. A woman who understands that being chosen is nothing compared to being valued. A woman who understands that love should not feel like a battlefield. So if you are in the middle of heartbreak right now, if you are in the middle of missing someone, if you are in the middle of letting go, if you are in the middle of choosing yourself even though it hurts, just know this. One day, this will all make sense. One day, this pain will not control you. One day, this story will be something you tell, not something you cry about. One day, this will be the chapter that made you who you are. One day, you will be grateful you didn't settle. One day, you will be grateful you walked away. One day, you will be grateful that it ended, because it made room for your life to begin. And when that day comes, you will look back at the version of you who was crying, begging, waiting, hoping, breaking, and trying so hard to hold on to something that was not meant for you. And you will gently smile and say, "Girl, what the heck were you thinking?" If this message found you at the right time, take it as a sign that you are healing, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. If you're a woman choosing peace, choosing yourself, and learning how to walk away from what hurts you, this channel is for you. Subscribe to Simply Chanel for videos about healing, self-worth, peace after heartbreak, and becoming the woman who never settles again. And if this video spoke to you, comment below, "I choose peace." Thanks for watching.